Grab a drink and have a seat. It's time to chat with the hottest new artists and songwriters around. This is Back Porch Sippin' with Lindsay.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Back Porch Sippin'. I cannot believe next month we celebrate 2 incredible years of the Back Porch Sippin' podcast, and it is all thanks to you guys that listen each and every week. You buy merch, you support us, follow, share, all the good stuff across social media, and we wouldn't be doing it without you. So thank you so much. Of course, with that being said, we definitely are going to be throwing a party. I can't give you all the details yet, so stay tuned. But what I can give you is a date. April 12th, downtown Nashville, Tennessee. Back Porch Sippin' Writers Round. Trust me, you need to be there. I cannot wait to give you this lineup. It is incredible. But until we make it to April, I'm just going to keep sending artists your way that you need to check out. And my guest this week, she's definitely one of them. So happy to have her right here in the Back Porch Sippin' studio. Please welcome Bailee Barnett. First podcast ever. Hell yeah. Honored.
Yes,
I am honored.
Too.
No, I'm honored. How have you been? Last time we caught up at the Writers Round, so that was super fun. Thanks for playing, of course.
Of course, anytime.
And I know we're going to get into it, but I know you just put out a single on Friday.
Yes.
So that's awesome. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
that. But you've been here how long now?
Since August of 2020. So this year's going to be 3 years. Yeah, I moved
Rough
right
time to move.
During the pandemic, I know. It was crazy.
Where'd you move from?
Northern California, a small town called McKinleyville.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Do you miss it?
I miss the people there, and I miss the small town feeling of it. But I don't miss living there. I like to visit, but not living there.
That's how I am. What about the weather? You miss the weather?
No, the weather there is. There's one season, and it's foggy and rainy all the time. A high of 65.
That's not what I was picturing.
Oh no! See, everyone in California thinks it's sunny. Northern California is completely different than Southern. They could be 2 different states.
Wow.
What I would compare our weather to is the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Seattle. Because
that sounds miserable.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's very depressing, honestly. I just talked to some friends the other day, and they're like, "Hey, so do you remember getting seasonal depression here all the time because the weather is just rain during the winter?" They're like, "Yeah, going through it. Hopefully, it's gonna get better soon, but it's barely ever sunny there, ever."
Wow.
I remember when I moved here, the first time I went back to visit, so many people were like, "Did you dye your hair? Your hair looks so much brighter." And I was like, "No, I just live in the sun now. That's what's happening." Yeah.
You're like, I get it done for free. It's amazing.
Yes. Yes.
That's hilarious. So, moved here for music, of course. Yeah. When you moved here, was that kind of the goal to do music full time?
Yes. I got my degree in teaching, so I was actually planning on subbing and doing music. Honestly, came into town not knowing literally anything or how to do things. And I still feel like I struggle with that. Sometimes I'm like, okay, what do I do that's right? Or what do I do that's wrong? Or what am I doing wrong? Or whatever. But I feel like coming in, I came into it blindly. So I wasn't exactly sure what to do to get to music full time. So, yeah, I came in thinking I was going to substitute teach and write songs on the side, and then I would be out somewhere and someone would just, be like, "Hey, you look like a songwriter. You want to do this?" And yeah, obviously it did not happen like that. But
what did it happen because you moved here during COVID.
Yeah.
So coming from where all your family is, friends, your whole life you've spent there, moved here during COVID, where we were pretty much shut down for a hot minute.
Oh yeah.
So how'd that look like for you?
I was scared shitless. So I got here August 1st. I took over someone's lease, and my mom left, and I was like, what do I do now? I lived in a studio completely by myself, and at the time I got laid off for COVID. So one perk was that my unemployment carried over when I moved. For the time being. So I was on unemployment for a month or 2 living here. So that helped me financially, for sure. And I just sat in my studio. I knew one person when I moved here, took my hand along the way a lot of the time. She's introduced me to a lot of like my music friends now, which is great. But yeah, and then around probably like September-ish, you know, all I was doing was sitting at my house. I remember I'd wake up in the morning, I'd go work out, I'd go to the grocery store, I'd come home and just write. I just wrote. It was like the first time I was truly by myself. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like moving here completely by myself and knowing one person, I feel like I really got to know myself and got to know myself as a songwriter during that time, just having that much alone time. And so then my friend from home like did some booking stuff for me. So she actually emailed Tootsie's. They called me and they were like, hey, we want you to come down on Saturday and try out. So I was like, okay, wow, this is huge. This is awesome. What the heck is going on? So I went down on Saturday. I sang. They hired me right there on the spot. I didn't know that, like, I was singing on the stage for the band. I remember, like, the band asking me, what song do you want to sing? And I was like, I don't know, what song do you want to play? Like, I did not know what I was doing at all. So I just sang, you know, I can't remember what song I sang. I think I sang, like, a Morgan Wallen song and, like, a Carrie Underwood song or something. I don't know. So then I got on with Tootsie's, but everything was shut down. So I would play, like, one little 2 to 6 on Saturdays, and no one could stand up. No one could dance. We were singing to seated people until I started singing with Dalton full time. So I started singing on Broadway in October. Just on Saturdays, 2 to 6, Tootsie's Back Room with the training band. Come like February or March-ish, they were starting to like make more bands because there was only bands at Tootsie's at the time. Everybody else was playing like acoustically. The big stages had bands, but like Rippy's, a lot of them, you know, played acoustic. Honky Tonk Central, the floors, the second floor and third floor, acoustic. So everyone was playing acoustic, so they were building bands back up, and that's when Dalton, like, reached out to me. I'd never met him in person. He sang for, like, 3 or 4 months to seated people.
Wow.
So COVID really was, like, I was very thankful that I got a job when I could.
Right.
Like, down there, even though it was just people sitting down, you know?
Yeah, definitely. So to catch everybody up, Bailee and I met through Dalton, who's a good friend of mine. Known him for about, like, good Lord, like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
Like your big brother, basically, right?
Yeah.
Incredible guy. So Dalton Black, he was on the podcast probably like a year ago now. So you can scroll way on back, check out his episode as well. But you can catch you guys Friday nights, right?
Yes, I am back Friday nights. I took probably like 6-ish months off, and I really missed being on stage, so I texted him. I was like, yo, can I please sing with you just one night? Because for me personally, we were singing 5 nights a week, which Dalton, or he might be at 4 right now, or going back to 5 or something, but you know, it was a full-time job, and that's really draining down there on Broadway, like 5 nights. 4 nights is like doable, but like 5 nights, it was real rough. And the hours are 10 to close, so we normally get cut around like 2:15. At Tootsie's 2:45, so it's like, I was like up all night, sleeping all day, not good for my mental health.
Seeing all the crazies.
Oh yes, all the crazies.
I want to talk to you about being on stage and having to play for seated people. I mean, because, you know, when people come to town, that looks way different, you know, than your first version of Broadway, basically, to what it is compared to now.
Yeah. So I feel like I am almost more thankful that we started when it was seating, because it was kind of I don't know if I'd say thankful. I feel like it was just more of like a cushioned start rather than just getting thrown into it and, you know, playing Honky Tonk Central Maine and just having, you know, you see people to the back of the room, you know, I probably would have like freaked out or something.
Yeah.
You know, playing to seated people, we were playing at a time during that, like right when we started up with the band again, it was 11 to 2. So 11 a.m. The first hour and a half, there was no one there because it was COVID, and we were normally on like the 3rd floor of Honky Tonk Central. We got a lot of practice time, which I think was a major perk. You know, there were songs that like I got to play and practice before, it kind of took off. Also was difficult because, it's hard to like rope in a crowd when now I realize, I feed off the crowd's energy when I'm on stage. There was no energy to feed off, but I feel like I didn't know that at the time. So I was just like, oh, this is cool. You go up to someone, you're like, hey, you want to hear a song? Or, it was like more of a cushioned, you put a toe in instead of diving all the way in.
Right.
So.
And I'm glad that you look at it that way, versus like, well, I got screwed. I just, started out and nobody was up there. I was just kind of winging it. Like, so it's good to look at it like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, fast forward almost 3 years later, here you are, have released your own music. So talk to me about this new single you just put out.
So this new single is super, super special to me. I feel like my songwriting has come a long way. From, I think I wrote my first song like senior year of high school or something. I don't know. And I've always played piano and I taught myself guitar. So I used to write my songs like on piano and it was super depressing and like all that. So just like seeing how far I've come lyric wise, I think that that's like what I'm most proud of in this song is like lyrically. I also like met my boyfriend this past year and he is just so amazing. And, for a long time I was... I really wanted to do something special for him and also to do it for myself to like write how I was feeling, like being in love, and, meeting someone new and making me being by myself for so long, and then incorporating another person into your life. Like I wanted to write something that really encompassed that. And I feel like I wrote like lines here and there, and I wrote a verse, but I couldn't get a chorus. And so this song, I actually wrote 2 verses for it. And I wrote a chorus, but the chorus, I played it for Garrett, who's my boyfriend, and he was like, babe, I think you can do better than this. And I'm like, yes, I can. So my producer is Joe Costa. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah. So Joe and Martina are also like my big brother and big sister. And so Joe Costa is my producer. So I texted Joe. They were in California. And I was like, hey, dude, I got these 2 verses. Help me with the chorus. Come on. Because we actually wrote my next single coming out together. We started that from scratch. It's our first song, like, writing it, us two. So I'm super excited for that one, too. But, so we popped out this chorus over FaceTime in, like, an hour, I think.
Heck yeah.
And it was perfect. And so then we went into the studio one day and just kind of built it. We wanted to build it together so we both could, like, get that feel for it and the sound for it and stuff. And I don't even know if I told Joe this. I might have, but I'm very forgetful, so I could have not told him. But always wanted a song with violin in it. And I was like, whatever I gotta do, I want a song someday with violin in it. And this song, we got a violinist to play on it. And so that's even, like, makes me even more excited about the song. So, yeah, it just all kind of fell into place. And it's just been a really emotional, few days since it's been out. Just because, like, you create this masterpiece in your mind, and then, you put it out there for people to listen to. And it's very vulnerable. It's very exciting. It's very, gives me anxiety. But but no, it's been really awesome the past couple days. And, like, just making the TikToks to go along with it, and the social media posts and all that, focusing on that kind of gets your mind off of, like, what are people thinking about this song? What do they think, Do they like it? Are they listening to it? Or are they just listening to it because, they know me or, so.
So what's the boyfriend think of the final product here?
I honestly think it's his favorite song, Known to Man. Yeah. And, like, it's just really, he's very, like, I wouldn't say very, very emotional guy, but he's definitely in tune with his emotions, which I love. And so,
we love a man that feels.
Yes, we do. We love it so much. But we have a lot of things going on in our lives, like, as a couple. Like, we just moved in together. Just, like, a lot of, exciting things happening for us.
Right.
So then it was, like, the song just kind of added to it for, like, us as a couple. And, we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary. I know.
Congratulations.
It's crazy. Thank you. So he loves the song. He thinks that it's some of my best work that I've done. Aww. And he specifically said to me, he said, I know that this song is about us and about me, but put that aside. Like, if I just heard the song as a stranger, I think that it is a beautiful song. So I was like, okay, that makes me feel a lot better. Because he would be honest with me about that, so.
What a man.
What a man. I truly feel so lucky to,
So, you know, I gotta ask, how'd y'all meet?
Oh my god. Okay. No. It's fine. It's great. So we matched on Bumble.
Okay.
For the longest time, I was like, but we wouldn't have met if it wasn't for Bumble. So I'm very thankful for that. And then, so we matched in February, and then I think I said like, oh, hey, we should like plan to meet up because, you know, I liked talking to him, so I was like, oh, I want to meet him, you know? And so he came to my show like the following Saturday. So Dalton was there, all my band friends were there, and it was at Tootsie's main stage. He walked in, actually the night before we met, I thought he was going to be a catfish because he doesn't have any social media or anything, so I was like, oh shit. Am I setting myself up right now? And no, he wasn't a catfish. And then pretty much we met that night and we've been together ever since.
Man, so you're telling me no social media and he's in tune with his feelings.
Dude, he is a unicorn.
What?
Yes, I know. He is a unicorn.
My God, don't let him go.
I will never. No.
So I know you mentioned that you and Joe have also worked on another song as well. Do you have a release date?
Yes.
Okay.
I can announce it first here.
Oh, even better.
I know. I have not announced it on Instagram yet, but I'm waiting for the perfect time. So this song is called Margaritas for Two. It's a very fun, upbeat, you know, kind of like what the song encompasses is like, you know, life sucks sometimes. That's just the truth of it, you know. It's really shitty. And, you know, it's kind of just like put aside all that, and sometimes all you need is just a margarita and someone you love and you care about, to hang out with and enjoy that drink with, you know? So that's what we wrote about. It comes out March 10th.
Okay.
Yes, so I'm very, very excited
right around
for
the
that.
corner.
I know. So I was like, I planned these two releases like pretty close to each other because I haven't released music since last May. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, let's just do two. I'm planning for like more. I need to like text Joe and stuff, but yeah, so March 10th, Margaritas for Two comes out. It's a really fun, upbeat song that I am just really, really pumped for. So, yeah.
Heck yeah. I can't wait.
And Joe and I wrote that, like, from scratch together. Like,
love it.
We are both the writers on that song, so, yeah.
He's so freaking talented, too.
Oh, my
like, my
gosh. He blows, like, working with him is such a treat. And also, like, Martina, too. Like, she sang harmonies on Old Days, I think it was, because he's been my producer since I moved to Nashville.
Nice.
So he's done Hilltop Town for me, Old Days for me, Your Everything, and Margaritas for Two. So I've worked with him for 4 songs, and he literally, like, working with him is just like, we just work. Like, it is so easy, but so rewarding, and just, you know, he has done so many great things for me, and I'm very thankful for both him and Martina.
Yeah.
And they're so talented. They blow my mind.
That's how you know you got a good team, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm really thankful to have the genuine connections, like with them and with other people and things like that. So
got to share some exciting news with us. March 10th.
Yes.
Big day for you.
Yes.
So where can people find you online so they can keep up to date with you and, more importantly, listen to that music when it comes out?
So I have an Instagram. I'm learning the whole Instagram stuff. You know, it's very hard. You probably know. Like, Instagram social media is just a pain in the ass sometimes.
It is.
I feel like with social media, I'm like, I compare myself to others so much. So I feel like the mental health aspect of it is like, I gotta tell myself to knock it off a lot of the time. But I do have an Instagram. It is Bailee Barnett Music. Bailee is spelled with 2 E's. And then Barnett has 2 T's at the end. And it's just one word, Bailee Barnett Music on Instagram. And I also have a TikTok that I have been trying to make TikToks, which is also, I feel like making TikToks is actually like fun for me sometimes, you know. I like the whole video aspect of it. And, you know, I'm like, I don't care how many likes I get, you know, it's funny. I try to post like funny things as well. But that is also Bailee Barnett Music, one word on TikTok.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And so I'll be like updating when, you know, I'll post when those songs are coming out and post like clips of it and things like that. I try to do that as much as possible, but yeah.
Nice. So what kind of videos do you like making so far?
So I have it, okay, there's one that I made about Margaritas for Two like a long time ago, and I thought that it was like the funniest thing ever. I don't know if anyone else thought it was funny, but so I don't know if we're going to dive into this. We might, but I am a substitute teacher right now during the day. So I made a TikTok. It got not a ton of likes, but it got some. And I was saying, like, please blow this song up so I don't have to be a teacher anymore. And so, like, I made that video that I thought was hilarious. That was one that I liked. It was like me driving in the car, and I was just like, had the most serious look on my face. I was just like, please blow this damn song up so I don't have to drive and teach these kids. But, no offense. But recently I have been making, like, get ready with me's, but they're not like long. They're like 15 seconds or something, and I'm just like posting my makeup products, and they're like, I do like some dancing in it, and I'm not a very good dancer, so you might find some humor in that, but I've been making those a lot, so I like doing those, and those have been getting some love, so
nice.
Good.
You just gotta start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere. You really
do. Like the classroom, apparently.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So what grades are you teaching?
Oh, well, kind of all over the place. I just recently so about like probably a couple weeks ago, maybe like a month ago, I was kind of going all over the place, like anywhere from like kindergarten to like 8th grade, mainly. It was like elementary and middle school. And you know, I, no offense to teachers, I have a newfound respect for teachers, that's all I have to say. But I was tired of having a bad day, and I just had bad days, way more than I had good days. But there was one school that I became friends with a lot of the teachers there, and the staff, and the kids, like, I subbed there the most, so the kids actually know who I am, like, you know, they're like, hi, Miss Bailee, you know. And so I decided, like, I'm mainly just subbing at that school now. Like when they have jobs opening up, I just pick those up. And so sticking to that has been a lot better because I get to, like, see my friends and, you know, see kids. Like, they always run up to me and they're like, hi, Miss Bailee. And so that's a really rewarding feeling.
Yes,
that is rewarding. It is. So that school, I always have a good day when I go to that school. The staff is super supportive and super just, like, have your back and will help you with whatever you need. So that's been a great switch for me. But if you would have asked me a month or two ago, I would have had a completely different answer. So, yeah.
Oh, man, I love it. So did you just start subbing when you moved here, or did you sub back in California as well?
No, I graduated college, actually, in May of 2020. And I got my degree in teaching and moved here. I left late July from California because it took us 4 days to drive here. And me and my mom. And I literally sold everything, put whatever I could in my car, and just...
Dang.
Yeah, I really
You were determined.
I really did. It was really scary, actually. I remember, like, being in it and, like, forcing myself to just do it because in my head I was like, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm living my entire life. And I pretty much just had to ignore myself and just do it, and I sure am glad that I did. But I sang on Broadway 5 days a week from like February or March of 2021 until August of 2022.
Okay.
So that was mainly just my job. I was, like, singing on Broadway full time with Dalton and the boys. And so come August, I was like, you know, me singing on Broadway is great, and I'm getting a lot of, you know, practice being on stage and doing all this kind of stuff. And so when I go home a lot, I do shows too. So that always helps me, like, you know, practice for that. But then I was like, I was working 10 p.m. to, like, I'd get home at like 3 a.m., you know, every day. And that's just really, really draining on a person, first of all. Second of all, I felt like I was so tired all the time that I just was not picking up the guitar. I wasn't, you know, sitting down at the keyboard. I was not, like, writing at all. I was, like, not focused on my own music. And I feel like, I'm not going to lie, like, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Like, I really started losing the love for it, you know, like singing down on Broadway. And, you know, because you're singing to people and you're on stage and you're singing, and that's awesome. And I'm super thankful for that. But you're singing to a bunch of hammered people who are having the time of your life, and you're like, you do you, like, this is awesome. But, you know, they're not going to be like, last night in my drunken state, I heard a really good singer down there. You know, like, it just wasn't like was a very, like, plateau. There wasn't, like, any, you know, going higher, like, it was just just the same thing every damn week, and I just, like, was losing the love for it. I feel like I'm still working on that, like, getting that love back, you know, and so I was like, you know, I'm gonna sub, and then I'm gonna focus on my music. But then it was like, when you're subbing, focus on subbing, so, like, just subbing at that one school, and just, you know, working on my music as much as possible. I feel like sometimes I have to make myself, like, work on my music just because, you know, it's hard. It's a 10-year town. You know, you stay in the same place for too long a lot of the time, and it really makes you get burnt out. But, you know, I'm just recently, like, moving back to Nashville. Like, we're moving back to Nashville. We live in Spring Hill right now. That will just, I know I'm kind of just, like, we moved this weekend, so I'm like, that's when it, like,
right.
I gotta hit it hard, you know, living back in Nashville, going to rounds, doing that whole thing, practicing a lot more. We're actually making one of the rooms at the new house into a music room. So
nice.
I'm really excited for that, like, having my own space to go to kind of, like, unplug and stuff. So that's really exciting. So yeah, just doing that for now. I forget what question you asked me. I talk so much. So get on, like, a tangent, and then I'm like, what were we talking about? I don't remember. But anyway, yeah.
That's all right. I forgot to. So it's okay. So looking forward, 5 years from now, where do you want to be?
Oh, shit. Oh, man. I really would love to, like, get into a publishing company. Because at the end of the day, I love singing and I love being on stage. Don't get me wrong. I've actually done, like, some cool concerts and stuff. Like, this last October, I opened up for Easton Corbin, which was, like, a huge thing for me. That was amazing, and it went amazing. And I've never sang on a better sound system in my damn life than open over at Easton Corbin. I was like, holy crap. But as much as I love singing and I love entertaining people and being in front of, you know, a crowd, songwriting is, like, my true love, you know, my true, like, internal thing I have that, you know, a lot of people can't sit down and write a song. So I feel like that's really, I'm very thankful that I have that, you know, sixth sense or that thing, you know. So my goal in these next couple of years would probably just to, like, really, really sit down and songwrite with people who are better than me, so I can, you know, learn from them. And, you know, hopefully get in with a publishing company. And, you know, I feel like this town, yeah, like I said, it's a 10-year town, so 5 years from now would be 8 years, you know, hopefully in 2 more years after that I get my break. Just, you know, working at it, working on the love that I have for it, because I have it. It's just kind of dug deep right now. I gotta get that out. So as soon as I feel like, you know, I really can sit down and focus solely on my music and writing and doing all that, I feel like it's just going to be an uphill thing for me. I just, you know, it's just going to go up from there. So I really got to, like, focus on myself and focus on, you know, why I fell in love with music in the first place, you know. So I feel like once I get there, then, you know, 5-year goal would be getting into a publishing company, having a pub deal, maybe talking to labels, things like that, you know. That's hopefully in 5 years. But at the same time, that's, like, a goal, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of the time, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm like, how would I get to there? So learning more on how to get there, you know. That would also be in my list of goals.
Yeah, definitely, because, I mean, it's a lot to learn.
Yes.
I feel like people see, like, just for example, like Priscilla Block or something. You see her on TikTok, and for people that don't know anything about music, live here, nothing, they see her and they're like, wow, this girl wrote this song, boom, now she's a superstar. And it's like, that's not even remotely close to how it works.
Yeah, it's just like Lainey Wilson. She's been in town for so many years, and she's just now, you know, getting the credit she deserves for it. It's like, there's so much behind the scenes things, and I actually, like, I feel like I relate to that a lot, because being from a small town, everyone thinks I moved to Nashville and I became this superstar. It's just, you know, and, like, when I go home sometimes they're like, oh my gosh, Bailee, Nashville singer, and not that I'm not thankful for that. I love the support that I have from my hometown, and I don't want to, like, stray from that. But at the same time, it's like, I'm here, I am literally, like, bottom of the totem pole right now, you know, working my ass off trying to, even just get a little bit seen. Mm-hmm. So I feel like a lot of people don't see that side of, like, the amount of work and how many years it takes and, like, all the learning aspects of it. And there's not, like, a singular class you can take.
Right.
You can't just, like, go take a class how to be a country music singer. And you take it and you learn and then you do it. Like, this.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Wouldn't that be nice? I know. There's just, like, trial, error, a lot of failure, a lot of, rejection. I feel like I submitted, Your Everything to, like, a bunch of playlists. And, like, a lot of the time, I submitted it to 9 so far. Only 2 said yes. Like, that's just part of it. That doesn't mean that the song is bad or the song is, and it's hard sometimes to, like, decipher in your brain, like, okay, not everyone's gonna love this song, and that's okay, as long as you truly love it, and you love what you're putting out there and what you're making. So a lot of rejection comes along with that, too, that people don't see,
Definitely does.
So, yeah.
A lot of, holy shit, did I make the right call moving here?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or just, like, I feel like, and this is what I feel like a lot of people, well, at least I don't hear a lot of people talk about it. Maybe they're talking about it, I'm just not hearing it. I feel like, as an artist, it needs to be talked about that, like, I wake up most days, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, this is crazy. Like, what if I don't make it? What if, my song, one of my songs never blows up? What if it's pretty much a gamble. Like, you are risking your entire life on a gamble in hopes that one day someone will appreciate the talent that you have.
Yep.
But, like, what if that doesn't happen? I feel like there's constantly just, like, what ifs going on in my head. I feel like, you really have to, like, make yourself be like, no, this is what you were born to do. Mm-hmm. This is what, is your path on this earth to do. And you gotta buckle down and you gotta do it. You gotta stop, being scared of shit all the time, I feel like I'm scared of shit a lot of the time. And I just gotta, like...
You gotta chase it with the, what if it does work out?
Yes. And it's hard sometimes being that positive. But
it definitely is, especially as a female in the industry.
Oh.
It's even, you add in all the regular bullshit, times that by 10.
Oh, yeah. That's a whole other can of worms. Like,
it's completely different, women versus men in this industry, for sure.
Could not agree more.
So in the next few years, you want to get into some rooms with some bigger artists and bigger writers and start writing with them. Who kind of comes to mind when you think of, like, man, I would do anything to get in a room with them?
I gotta think about that. So a lot of the, songwriters that are behind the scenes, I feel like, is, like, everybody's putting out his own music, is Brett Cherokee. His songwriting is amazing. Also, like, Haley Witters, too. That would be really awesome. I love her. She's, like, definitely up and coming. That whole Ashlyn Craft, that she is, like, if I got to her level, that would be, like, she is one of my favorite artists. I also like that, she stays true to her roots and all that jazz. But any of those girls in that circle, too, would be awesome,
You mentioned in high school that you first started playing the keys.
I started playing piano when I was 6.
Oh, wow.
My parents put me into lessons.
Okay.
So I did that up until about age 13-ish. Mm-hmm. And I played sports, so I was like, I don't have time for that. And then, but in high school, I remember, like, I would play for my friends a lot of the time. Probably looking back, that was probably so annoying of me to do. But I would play piano, and then I tried to learn how to, like, sing while I played. I, like, taught myself how to do that, like, multitasking. Mm-hmm. And the first song I ever learned to sing and play on piano was Someone Like You by Adele. And I sang that at the talent show sophomore year of high school. So I would, like, do little things. I always sang the national anthem a lot of the time when I was in high school for, like, football games or events or, like, rallies. But I was so nervous that I would, like, sing in the locker room or, like, to where no one could see me. I couldn't see anyone, and I would just sing. So it's crazy how far I've come thinking about that. But, yeah, high school, I would just kind of play here and there. But I played basketball, and I was a cheerleader, and I was on ASB and, like, did all that kind of stuff. So music was definitely not a, like, top priority for me. Mm-hmm. And then in college is when I really started, like, getting into it. I started teaching myself guitar and, like, songwriting more. And I don't know, I felt like, I gotta move to Nashville. I just have to move to Nashville. I don't know why. I was just being drawn to here, and I feel like that really got me to where I am today, you know? Like, I feel like something was just like, I visited Nashville one time before I moved.
Wow.
And then I moved. I was like, I gotta do it. So.
I love it.
Yeah.
Do you like playing the piano or guitar better?
I feel like, that's a hard question. I will always love the piano. Mm-hmm. It will always be my, like, first, you know, I learned on it. I wrote some of my first songs on it. And I love the piano. I feel like I play guitar more now just because it's so, you know, mobile and, you know, you can kind of create a lot more, I feel like, on the guitar with songwriting. Like, I feel like I can hear melodies better when I strum, you know, like, the guitar. But, I will always love the piano. I don't know, that's hard. I feel like they're tied. I feel like I'm way better at piano than I am at playing guitar. And so I feel like maybe piano, just because, you know, I am a little bit better, and I could probably do that, you know. I'll never, like, not be able to play piano. It's like muscle memory type thing. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I just need to improve a little bit more on the guitar, but that's my practice.
Hey, I mean, you taught yourself. Like, that's still impressive right there.
I know. It's been a lot of years since I started, though, so I feel like I'm like, maybe I should be a little bit better, but eventually I will be. I'm not too worried about it.
We'll add that to the goals for the 5 years.
Yes, that sounds great to me.
That's awesome. Well, Bailee, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Real quick, before we wrap it up, I know you just released your latest single, You're Everything.
Yep.
So ending on a fun little lovey note.
Yes.
What are 3 green flags you look for when it comes to dating?
For me, it would be, green flag would be able to, like, sit there and have, like, a really deep conversation. Mm-hmm. And, like, you know, no phones, no TV, no nothing, and just be able to talk for, like, hours and hours on end. Being able to trust that person wholeheartedly, like, have an actual foundation of trust. I feel like that's a number one in my boyfriend and I's relationship, is, like, trust. And number 3 would probably be, a green flag would be being able to make me laugh. Like, we laugh like 95% of the time in our relationship, and I feel like having that, like, best friend aspect as well as the, like, romantic side of it, I feel like that is just what makes such a solid foundation. So probably those 3 things: trust, a deep connection and conversation, and making me laugh.
There you go, fellas. Take notes.
Yes.
That's all we're asking for.
Yes, take notes.
Oh, man. Bailee, it's been a pleasure to have you on and hear a little bit more about your story. And I can't wait to see in 5 years, when we bring you back on the podcast, what has happened for you.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's truly been fun, and it's just such an honor doing this. And my first podcast ever, so thank you.
We've been at this for quite some time. Felt so fast, ooh, but it felt so right. Every day together is better than the last. Sometimes we try to mess this up, but life's got other plans. We're meant to make it out alive. Everything's gonna be okay with you by my side. Before you I was just getting by, floating around downtown. I was singing in a dive bar. You walked in and turned my life around. And every day I can't believe where this is going, and I'm waiting to wake up from this dream. Boy, you ain't just a small part of my world. You're everything. You can feel it, but you can't explain. It's coming from my heart and running through my time you kiss me, everything just stops. They say home is where the heart is, and mine is in your arms. Before you I was just getting by, floating around downtown. I was singing in a dive bar, you walked in and turned my life around. And every day I can't believe where this is going, and I'm waiting to wake up from this dream. Boy, you ain't just a small part of my world. You're everything. You're the highest high I've ever been on, and I don't ever wanna come down. Before you I was just getting by, floating around downtown. I was singing in a cover band when you walked in and turned my life around. And every day I can't believe where this is going, and I'm waiting to wake up from this dream. Boy, you ain't just a small part of my world. You're everything. You're everything.
Thanks for listening to Back Porch Sippin' with Lindsay. Subscribe now to stay up to date and hear new episodes first. Be sure to like and follow us at Back Porch Sippin' POD.